Hello, friends. Welcome back. Day 2 of the summit. I believe that my cheeks have rested since yesterday. They were a little bit sore. I refer to that as wedding day face, just from smiling so big. I love everything about this, and I'm so grateful that your yes unlocks my experience, because otherwise I'm just here talking to the barn cats and nobody's it's less exciting. But because we've co-created this beautiful vortex of desire for expansion and curiosity and learning and openness and presence and alignment and questions, and coming, I said curiosity, but coming with a heart that's open to discover, but also not handing all of our power over just because somebody's talking louder or has an opinion or wrote a book or
Mhm.
has a billion followers or whatever, right?
Right.
So taking what resonates and what nugget is here for each of us and letting the rest go, because
Mm.
we're selective sifters. When we go to the beautiful farmers market, we don't take the entire crate of eggplant. We choose the ones that we want, or if we're in France, we don't choose. We wait in line and then we tell them what we want, and then they ask us when we're preparing it, and then we answer them, and then they choose the best one for us. But we do not touch the produce at the farmers market in France. Just so if you didn't already know that.
That's good to know. That
That's
is
good.
good
I was just gonna
information.
say,
That was
that's
my
really good to
nugget
know.
for today.
Yes. Well, yay. We are complete. I'm so glad.
I love
I
it.
think there is just so much available for us. There's so much, God is always at work around us. And He invites us into that work. We have access to all that the universe and source energy and all that is happening. And we can power through our days and kind of create by default, just going
Mhm.
through and doing the best we can with the tools that we have. But I feel like this group of people are interested in being more deliberate in what we're creating, being more intentional, being more co-creative with the
Mhm.
divine of what is here for us. And when we do that, I mean, I believe the same is true for you, but for me, the synchronicities, the like how often I play this game with Amelia, of how often I look at the clock and it's 1:11, and then it's 2:12, and then it's 3:33, and then it's 4:44. I mean, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Now we text each other because she has a watch now that can message me. So
So
it's
cute.
just, and of course, those times have been happening twice
Yeah.
a day, every
Right.
day. But
Right.
because we made a decision to plug in and to be aware, then I will just share this last, like, just so random. And random, the more random, the better, because
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh. Like, I already know this stuff works, and oh my gosh, this totally is true. This connection is
Right.
here.
Right.
I I was telling the ladies before you all came on, that I'm doing a process called segment intending today. So I have my little notebook, and as I go into a new segment each day, I'm just writing what I intend out of that segment. So for breakfast, I intend to choose healthy, nutritious, delicious food that is in service for my body and gives me the energy I need for this beautiful day. And then my new segment is I want to be sure-footed walking across the ice rink that is my driveway to go feed the barn cats, and just this purposefulness. And at
Yeah.
one point, my segment was to go downstairs and refresh my tea. And for some, I don't know, it was this weird reason, I got this impulse to, if you've been, some of you have been into the kitchen, I have this vintage cobbler's rack. It's a wooden rack, and all of my cookbooks are on it. And it's at one place. And I don't know, because I have nothing else to do today, I decided I should take all of those cookbooks off and dust them and then see if the rack should move this way. And it was too big. So then I put it back. And the last book that I was putting up on top of all of my collection of Ina Garten cookbooks, I think I have all but two. I have her memoir that I have not read yet. And as I was putting that up, I thought to myself, wouldn't it be amazing if I had her on the podcast? Wouldn't that be like, oh my gosh? And I remember when she wrote, I think, Comfort Food, it was during the pandemic that that launched. And if you ordered the cookbook from Williams Sonoma, you got a link to a live Zoom with Ina and Jennifer Gardner doing, like, talking about cooking. And I was like in it.
Wow.
I was so excited. And so I recalled that and thought, well, it's just a Zoom call. And I've been on a Zoom call with her. And, maybe I'll run into her in Paris. Who knows? Like, all, just
Yes.
for this
Ah,
just yummy, delicious thing. So then my next segment, coming back to my desk. Now I've done this whatever weird thing that took 30 minutes, but now is all dusted. I came back to my desk, no joke. In my text messages is this woman, Tracy, who went on my France trips last year, who sent me pictures of Zoom screen with Ina Garten and this blonde woman that I didn't know. And Tracy said, in my book club, we're reading Ina's new book, and we got to meet her. She came to our book club last night on Zoom.
oh my
I
gosh.
have chills. I
I
was like,
love it.
oh my gosh, thank you for showing me what's possible.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
It's so random and not
present. You
Right.
were totally
totally
present and, "Oh, I'm in this moment. I wanna do something with the shelf. Oh, wait a minute, I'm gonna move the books. Oh, wait."
Right.
You were meant to find that book,
Right.
and because you were present enough, you got what the message was the universe was trying to send to you.
Right. And now you take inspired action.
right. Oh, thank
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
let me write that down.
So send the email.
Right,
Send
because
the
I
email.
and it's 111.
Yeah.
Yeah!
Oh my gosh, you guys, you can't make this stuff up. Okay,
You
so
can't.
all right.
She's
Send
waiting.
email. I have two speeds right now, or not at all.
Yeah,
I could just
yeah.
Yeah.
pause the recording and send
Same.
the email right now, but okay. Send the email to Ina Garten, as one does.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh, it's just so
Yeah.
good. Okay, so I I love that this is our life. I
Susan!
love
Hey,
that I'm at work
Susan.
right now. Yes, sweet Susan, welcome, welcome. Okay, so I will introduce our fabulous panelists, and then I want them to also introduce themselves. I'm just going to say what I know about them. So, sweet Liz McCutcheon. I met her in an equally random way. We were in
Yes.
a social media support group, which it's not a support group for social media people,
I
but
know
it
whenever you
was,
say it, I'm always
right? It's so bizarre, but
like,
that's
we
what
all
they
needed
called it.
help.
Well, yeah, we did. And it's so fascinating because the promise of the group, they weren't actually able to perform the promise, and she
Yeah.
felt really badly about that because she really thought it would work. But oh my gosh, the beautiful group of women that we met was such a prize. In fact, Susan is one of them also.
Yes.
Um, and it was just such a gift. So I found out that not only was Liz in this group, but lives down the street. And I invited her over, and oh my gosh, it's just been beautiful ever since. And I think it's really amazing when any of us can be known for something.
Mm.
I People will send me things on Instagram, anything that has to do with champagne, someone is sending to me, or anything that has like a big giant yes on it, someone is sending to me, or something about Paris, and I just love that that's the affiliation. Like all those things are good. I want to be known for all those things. And I have to say that not only the word, but the concept and the practice of presence. Whenever someone talks about that, I do not think of John Kabat-Zinn first. I think of Liz McCutcheon. So you have
Aw.
really embodied this practice in such a beautiful way that it does infiltrate everything that you do. And it is so beautiful and expansive because it's an invitation. Everybody has the skill and access to it. And the only way to get to the ninja level that you have is that mastery comes from repetition. And so I'm so appreciative of you and what you've taught me about presence. I had many practices that um created a environment for that, but the intentionality, the presence of my presence practice, I credit to you. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. And would you introduce yourself, please?
It's so funny when ever anybody asks me to introduce myself, I've lived so many lives. So I'm like, which life am I in right now?
The future one.
And
Introduce
if
the
anybody
future
who
one.
knows human design, if I could just say I'm a projector, everybody would totally understand. Um, but for everyone else, I'm a presence coach, a meditation teacher. Um, I'm here to guide. I'm here to guide whoever is ready back to their own inner knowing and inner guidance system. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. I'm just here to show you already know. And how I teach you how to get there is through presence, because presence is the way. It really is. It sounds so simple, and it is until our mind gets involved and tells us it's not.
Mm.
So I'm literally here to teach how to be present and how to practice it 24/7 so that you can live the life you came here to live, one present moment at a time.
Mm, yes, please. That's so fun. That was my 2-word bio for Sharon Nichols yesterday. Yes, please. Okay, sweet Pamela
Mm.
DeSalt, as I was shoveling snow off my driveway on Sunday, I thought, oh my gosh, the last time I shoveled snow off of this driveway, I was having a pre-podcast interview with Pamela. And I just recalled how that beautiful action of moving my body in service to my to-do list was so enjoyable and expansive because we were having a conversation at the same time. And for me, there's such a connection between doing something creative or movement that brings more ideas and
Mhm.
more ideas and
Mhm.
opportunities.
Mhm.
And so I loved that we connected that way. I loved that we realized that we live geographically close. I love that you came to the summer solstice white party. I love your beautiful presence and your courage to do the work that you're doing, because if I had to pick between your client base and my client base, I would pick mine
Mm.
over and over again because we say yes to ourselves and we go to Paris, and you
Yeah.
are you're in it. And
Yeah.
I love that you're the girl for the job. You're the queen for the job. You know how to be in service and to have this very beautiful, healthy balance of empathy with guidance that
Mm. Mm.
doesn't suck the life out of you in the
Mm.
process. And I think that that's multifold. But one reason is because of your intentionality and the way you practice presence. And I'm just very happy to know you. Thank you for being here.
Mm. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm just so happy to be here with all of you, and especially with Liz right now, because I do feel that there's a synergy that's happening here. And but I will introduce myself. Of course, I'm Pamela, and I'm a personal crisis coach and guide and trainer and teacher. And I essentially help people who are in the thick of it find their way through that storm, but also to discover who they really are in that process. That's not what they're initially coming to me for. They're coming to me for help and just some guidance and somebody to talk to who has been there, done that. But I'm helping to redirect and reframe their perceptions of themselves, of the situation, and certainly working on their mindset and doing practices that are very um, much aligned with the presence practice in terms of being. This comes back to what you were talking about when we first sort of met, Wendy, being in their body and finding that mindfulness of this is what is happening. This is all that I'm feeling. This is all the stuff. But when I come into my body, this is who I really am.
Mhm.
And finding that inner strength and discovery, again, this sort of blossoming of a discovery that they are much more glorious
Mm.
and expansive and loved and all the good things, right? All the yes please things that they didn't know they had before when they
Mm.
got into it. So um that is what I do. I also work very closely with family caregivers who are burnt out, who are experiencing a different type of crisis in that way. And so that's where I, that's my giving, that's my, it's not volunteer work, but it
Mm.
feels like it. because I can
Mm,
feel where they're at in that moment.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
oh
And
my
I'm honored
gosh.
and privileged to do it all.
Yeah.
And I do find joy in it. It seems hard. It seems like a low vibration, but it
Mm,
actually isn't, because
No.
there's so much possibility and in all of it.
right. I think service contribution
Mm,
is incredibly high vibe,
yeah.
right?
And
Like that.
creativity. Mhm.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. And resourcefulness and all of those
Yeah.
beautiful made in the image of our creator. You're
Yeah.
Yes.
able to access all of these things in service to other people. And I think what all of us are doing collectively, panelists,
Mhm.
attendees,
Yeah.
everyone that is in this sort of work with
Mhm.
within earshot of someone that's coming to them for something, all we're doing is reminding them of what they
Yes.
already know, right? Like
Yes.
this instinctiveness, you are connected to something bigger, and because it doesn't feel good,
Yep.
that's evidence that there's
Yeah.
something bigger,
There's
right?
something off, right. Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. So I would love to know, with regard to our theme, I mean, a theme of love, all of these themes for all of these summits, the word is, I mean, it could have millions of speakers and everyone can pull something away from that. And that word just so defines everything that we are and everything that we do. Again,
Mm.
made in the image of our creator, which is
Right.
love. Um, how are you, Pamela, seeing a practice of self-love in these situations that can feel incredibly draining?
Mm.
And, how if I'm burnt out, I just said, I have nothing else to give, and now I'm apparently also responsible for taking care of myself. Like, what is going
Mhm.
on here? So
Yeah.
how do you practice that? How are you seeing that play out?
I'll start with how I practice it first, which
Mm,
is a little different than how I may help my clients practice it. My practice is always coming back to doing my inner work. All right. I mean, every morning. And I do it with love. It's loving me by taking that time and saying, okay, let's do my mindfulness practice. Let's do my connection practice. I open up. Let's do my intention. Let's trust. Right. For me, it always boils down to trust. That is love for me. When I get into that place of trusting, I'm out of fear and I know that I'm in love. I'm in the space of love. And from there, usually my intention, unless I want to just have a day for me, my intention is usually just to do what I do driven by love, right? Let this love that is filling me up in that practice be shared with others, be given through my work. Through those that I work with, I mean, I don't like to, but to make this easier to explain, I'm going to kind of use it in terms of levels, right? Or a
okay.
ladder, right? So they're at the sort of the bottom of the ladder. And to help them with that, what I'm doing is showing them that every time they come back to an awareness of their inner strength, and I have to keep reminding them it's a practice we're doing. Why are you strong? Right? Why can you get through this? Et cetera, et cetera. Then that is self love, giving themselves that attention, paying attention to who they truly are is an act of self love in that moment. So we start from there. Mm,
Beautiful. Thank
mm,
you.
thank you.
Liz, do you have anything that you would like to say in response to that before I ask you, like, how love and presence correlates for you?
No, I think I'm good. I love what Pamela said.
Yeah.
Actually, I got to get to know Pamela on Sunday when we were having the snow ice storm of 2025. And yeah, her work is so beautiful. And yeah, I don't think I could add anything to make that more beautiful.
Mm, thank
How
you.
are you incorporating self-love, and
Mm.
how does that interact for you in your work?
Just like Pamela, obviously I not obviously for those of you who don't know me, I I do have my own morning routine. I get up every morning, and before I even brush my teeth, I meditate for 45 minutes. And I would say, hands down, meditation is my top self-love. It's like a non-negotiable. I can't live the life I came here to live, and I can't truly love myself without that practice. It's just part of who I am in sitting in stillness. And um, I couldn't do the work I do if I didn't walk my own talk. Like, I can't expect to ask someone else to meditate if I'm not meditating, or have a morning routine if I don't have a morning routine. That becomes non-negotiable for me. And besides meditation, I have a journaling practice. I write, and movement is always a part of who I am. I'm a runner, hiker. I previously hiked the Camino. Um, it's My self-love is all about the physical, mental, spiritual, and how are they all working together, and how would I choose this if I loved myself,
Mm,
is a question I'm constantly asking
mm,
myself. And I literally asked myself this morning after I got a text, and I said, if I how would I respond if I loved myself?
Mm,
And what came through me is my love for myself. Love is in the beauty of the pain. It's sometimes, yes, loving yourself feels really good and it's doing all these things, but sometimes that love for myself is sitting in the stillness of the pain and what's
mhm,
underneath that pain. Because I'm the only one that knows the way, and I'm the only one that has the map to that.
right.
And the way is always presence.
right.
It's everything I do always comes back to being right here. And there isn't a word out there that doesn't go with presence. Yeah. And it's
That.
what I teach anybody who will listen. Basically, I even the people in line in front of me, I'll hear them say something. I'm like, well, actually, you could. um, or people ask me, how am I present? How do you practice presence? How do you do this? How do you? And it's as simple as knowing that you've left it and you come back through your
Mm.
breath, through a walk, whatever it is. So yeah, I could talk
Um,
about it for hours.
are you a 2 on the Enneagram?
Oh
Do you
God,
know your Enneagram?
I don't know that.
I only
Mm-mm.
ask you because I know very little. I know more about Enneagram 9s because my people are 9s. Um, but I'm a 2. What I know about that is I am the helper, and, quite often, I offer my help unsolicited,
Well, my
Mm,
biggest thing
like,
is
to the people in
learning.
line.
Yes, as a self-projected projector, my what
Mm,
I'm learning is wait for the invitation.
right.
So when I give it unsolicited, I actually didn't wait for the invitation, and that
Mhm,
actually takes my energy
mhm,
to do that. And so it's a constant coming back to presence and being like, was I asked? My
right.
kids are
mm,
great at telling me they weren't asking.
Right? I'm a
So
generator, I don't wait for the invitation. I'm a
yeah.
generator and 2. It's like, I've already solved all of your problems and planned your wedding, and your coffee is not even ready yet. You're
Well, I'm
welcome.
like, why is no one inviting me? Can you please invite me? I
I
have
know.
so much to say. Do you not want to come up here? Like, let's all be present. Let's all do the inner work.
yeah.
The world would
Right.
be an amazing place.
Oh my
I
gosh.
know. Oh
Yes,
God, I'm
Pamela,
with you.
please, I would love you just you respond.
Oh gosh. Well, I have to respond to that last thing
Please.
because I totally get that. It's first of all, I had to learn myself a long time ago, and I 100% agree with Liz that when you're sharing, right? Whatever you know, whatever you are or believe, etc., you can drain yourself that
Mm,
way
Yeah.
if they are not looking for it because there's a wall, right? If you think of it in terms of energy, there's this energetic wall, and subconsciously or energetically, you're feeling it and you're needing to get through that wall. So you're working really hard without knowing that you're working really hard. So I totally get that. Um,
Yeah.
the
And they might
other,
not be ready to hear it.
well, that's usually it, right?
Yeah.
They're
They're
not
not
usually
ready.
ready to
If
hear
they were
it.
ready, they'd probably be asking me and be like, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but
Yeah,
that's when you know you're
right.
getting the invitation. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's the whole thing when the student's ready, the teacher appears, and it
Yeah.
just sort of works that way. Um, I mean, I don't have a whole lot to add, but I do want to ask a question
Please.
about your hike on the
Oh,
Camino. I
yes.
want to know about what prompted you to do that. And what was it like? I understand the physical attributes of what it might have been like, but what was the process like? I'm so curious.
I'm just going to pop in
Um,
here really quickly and say, after this, you can also listen to
yes.
2 podcast episodes I did with Liz.
Yes.
I got
Before and
Oh,
after.
no, 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 I want her to share, but it was so I love that you asked because I interviewed her the week before she did it, and then I interviewed her the week she got back, and
Yep.
then we aired them back to back,
Yep.
and, we shared a ride to the airport
We
when she
did.
was going to do the Camino, but I was going to France for
Yes.
a month and playing with my friend Sharon for part of that time. So it is beautiful, and I would love to have you answer that as well, Liz, because it's all everything that we're doing and talking about here is about love,
mm,
self love. How am I caring for myself in this moment? And
Mm.
not how am I only taking care of myself and all of you other people are on your own, but how am I modeling what it
Yeah.
looks like to care for me
Yeah.
first and for you
yes.
all to see the ripple effects of how I can show up better for everybody
Yeah.
else and everything else in my charge because my battery is full, because I'm giving from my saucer, not my empty cup, all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
think there are so many nuggets in the answer to this question for you, Liz,
Yes.
because although I mean, I want to walk the Camino, but although some people might not, there is so much we are all on a journey and it's way longer than 500 miles and it's way longer than 35
Yes.
days. So
Right.
welcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you might not be wearing the right shoes. So,
Yeah. Um, First of all, I would say to people, yes, I walked the Camino Frances, which is the original Camino, which is 500 miles across northern Spain. You start in St. John in France and you end in Santiago, Spain. I would just say, well, what is your Camino? Because
Mm,
we all have one. So what is it? What do you keep saying no to that keeps slapping you in the face? Because it's going to keep
mm,
slapping you in the face until you say yes. These things don't come to us because we're not supposed to do it. Oh, I have goosebumps. This
mhm,
we're not, it's because there's something there. Every trip we take is because we have karma where we're going. There's something there. There's
mm,
a reason we're supposed to go. There's something we're supposed to learn. And I don't when I say karma, there's really great karma and amazing karma too. It's all of it. And it's what, how we're going to move forward on our journey here. And
mm,
so for me, during COVID, a book was came into my awareness called Walking Home by Sonia Choquette. I opened it
Love
up.
Sonia.
I didn't even know what it was about. I opened it up, but I liked walking home. That's really cool. So I opened it up and there was a map across northern Spain. And I said, are you effing kidding me? I can walk across northern Spain and it's not a race. And there's not going to be like a deadline. Like if I don't make it, then I'm out. Like, um, I'm like, woo, this is really like, this is speaking to me. So I reached out to my adventure friend, Jill, who did it with me. And I said, hey, interested? Camino Frances. I said, I don't know when, but so then all of a sudden, every now and then we're sending each other texts about it to the point of where in February of 2023, we said yes to Camino Ways and put down a deposit for them to literally, we told them how long we wanted to walk it, what level of accommodations we wanted, and then they booked everything for us, including moving our luggage from place to place. I didn't know in February 2023 that in 2024 my life would turn upside down and my 30-year marriage would end. And it's almost like the universe were like, it just knew I needed to step out of my life for 6 weeks. I wish that there was a moment where I wished it could have been earlier, but as with everything with the universe, it's all
Mm.
divine timing.
Mhm.
I just had to keep staying present with it. Um, I was gone for 6 weeks. I was also leaving when my youngest would be moving into an apartment for her junior year of college. My ex was going to take care of that. I had the dogs, the house. My ex was going to stay here. Um, I not only had to practice presence leading up to it, but every single moment while I was there and
Mhm.
after I got back. But the Camino itself, first of all, I'm so grateful that it's something that I got to do. I understand that where everybody is in their life, they can't just take 6 weeks. However, I would say, why are you telling yourself you can't take 6 weeks? I had to
Mhm.
step out of my life. I am a cross country, an indoor and outdoor track coach as well. So I missed a whole good chunk of the season. Sometimes once we say yes, things start opening up for us to show us that we
Mhm.
can do it. And my friend Jill is a therapist. She had to make sure and set up her client. Like there was a lot of things at play here.
Mm.
Um, and we just stayed, especially me, fully present with it. And literally, I was practicing taking each and every step. I was only focused on what we were doing that day. The night before, we'd say, okay, where are we walking tomorrow? We'd read about the next day, we'd walk it, we get to the next place. Where are we walking tomorrow? It was never like, where are we going to be next week? Ever. It asked me to fully walk my talk and living fully present and practicing it. And there were moments where Jill would be like, Liz, how you doing? And I'd be like, I'm done walking and I want to be done. But then you'd be like, but we both knew like, we're not going to be done. We're going to get up the next day and we're going to start taking a step and we're going to keep moving. And I'm also vegan. So I was walking and so I was able to eat vegan the entire time when I thought I was like not going to make it and needed vegan food. We'd walk to a town and I would just open myself and be like, help me. I need something good to eat. We would get to the next town. The Camino always provides. It's a metaphor for life. If we just open ourselves and allow
Mhm.
it and deliberately create it in front of us, I get to the next town and there'd be homemade lentil soup with bread. So I don't know if that answered your question, but I could talk
Mm.
forever. There are so many metaphors and lessons. There were days where I was screaming at the top of my lungs at what was happening in my life. And then there were other days where I was fully in this is exactly where I'm meant to be. And as painful as this is, I have to be here. And this is what is true and necessary for me to move forward. I can't tell someone to live the life they came here to live if I'm not willing to do it, if I'm holding
Right.
on to the safety of something that no longer serves me. And the only reason I
Mhm.
saw that was because I'm present. And it wasn't always easy, ever. Like I
Right.
said, love is in the beauty of the pain.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing. I love that. Thank you. I mean,
you're
you
welcome. Thank you for
trusted, like,
asking.
no, I
Yes.
the trust, came through really clear that we were just talking about, or I was talking about,
Yes.
and the strength, the inner
Yeah.
strength that you find. And sometimes we don't look for
Yeah.
it, but we sometimes we're in a place where we have no choice because it's there.
Mm.
And
It's
and
always
then
there.
lo and behold, wow, look what I just did.
Yeah. It's such a beautiful process too, because it's like you said, it's a metaphor for life, and everything that we're in, everything that we're experiencing, whether it's
Yeah.
delightful or it has the opportunity to still our joy, we know that it has a beginning and an end. And if we can look at what is my role in this today and move
Yes.
myself through this process, there's no, I mean, raise your hand if there's something that you are totally ready to be complete with and the finish line is not in sight. I know
Yeah.
I'm not the only one, for goodness sakes, right?
Yeah.
So, but if I can remind myself that it's a process,
Mhm.
and it's actually, in most cases, a very well documented process. So we
Yes.
know
Yeah.
that,
Yes. Very well documented.
right? Like there are time frames and there are requirements and there are all these
Mhm.
things that are
Mhm.
not only in service to the actual finishing of
Yeah.
the action, it's in service to us. It's in
Right.
Well, and
service to,
it's
yes, please.
no, it's all about because you can be energetically completed with something.
Mhm,
I'm often just reminding myself the physical has to catch up,
mhm.
and sometimes you have to play the game. Like I
Yeah.
always tell my kids that too. You just got to play the game. This form needs filled out. We have to talk to this. Play the game. It's just a game. That's all it is.
Right.
And if when we remind ourselves of that, it takes some of that pressure off
Right.
of like
Right.
what needs to get done or how you're feeling like, oh, it's a game. That's right. I can be energetically completed with this because I'm already
Mhm.
energetically completed with my marriage, but I got to wait for that stuff to catch up.
Right, and you
Right.
have an
Right.
option to, we don't have an option to fast track that.
No,
You can't check the "please expedite" box like you
Right.
can for your passport, but we can decide how we feel about it, right? So we have
yes.
the thing about the process, regardless of how long we've been in it or how long it feels like there's left, or we don't even know what
Right.
is happening, we have so much agency. And again, it's
Yeah.
just back to this reminding ourselves or being available to be reminded of what we
Yeah.
Mhm.
already know.
Right.
We have everything that we need inside of us to do this because we have connection to the divine inside of us. And sometimes, me having everything inside of me includes connection with other
Right.
people. It includes, it's not, oh, now I can move to an island. Can you guys
No.
imagine me on an island? It better have Wi-Fi because I have
Yep.
podcasts. Like I like this, if I could just do this these last 2 days every day, I would need an exercise ball or something because I would gain too much weight. But other than that, I'm obsessed. So having everything inside of us does not mean
Right.
close ourselves off and not be available for outside influence. But
Mhm.
Well,
it's, go
yeah.
ahead.
No, no, I was just going to say, I was going to add to that, that everybody that comes into our awareness is a teacher to us
Mhm.
and we're a teacher to them. And when we're fully present with that, we remind ourselves that, oh, yeah, they're on a journey too. And I don't really know where they are on their journey. I just know where I am on my journey. So
Mm.
I've got to meet these people where they are, just like they kind of have to meet me where I am. So it just goes back to the 4 agreements too of
Mm.
am I being impeccable with my word? Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Always do my best. Be skeptical. Listen for the truth. What story are they telling themselves right now? It's nothing to do with me.
Nothing to do with me. That's my
Exactly.
mantra. It
Yeah.
has nothing to do with me. This is not about me.
Mm-mm.
Whatever
How
is
say more
happening.
about that, Pamela, and how are you implementing
Yeah.
that in your day-to-day? Because that's a
So,
beautiful presence
Yeah.
practice.
well, and we all come up against some kind of adversary, whether it's in a
Yeah.
situation or a person. And it can be big, it can be small, right? And I think that, I'm not saying that has to happen every day, but I think that it does happen. And when we know that that's going to happen, if we can be in that space or remind ourselves that, okay, yes, they're on their own journey, like Liz was just saying, but also however they are being or saying or doing or responding, right, isn't about me. It's about them. It's always about where they are at in their own heads, or maybe it's more than that. I don't know. It's not my job to know,
Yeah.
unless it's a client, then it's my job to know. But if it's anybody else, it's not my job to know. So keeping that in mind helps me to stay in my power, which is trust and love, right? Those two things,
Mhm.
and certainly presence, right? And just be who I am and do what I'm doing. And I happen to be happy inside and joyful and la la la. Great. Nobody's gonna, or I shouldn't say, it's still a work in progress, but nobody or anything is going to throw me off. One
Without
of
your permission,
Without my
right?
permission.
Mhm.
Right.
And as soon as I go into a place, or other people, I believe, go into a place of what am I doing wrong? Why am I not enough? What about me?
Mm.
Like all of those questions that get into self doubt in any way are, you're off course. You're already off course. You got to get back on course. It's not about you. It's just not about you. It's not about you being wrong or
How
whatever.
how do we get back on course?
I think by remembering that, and by training ourselves to be in that place, and certainly to do some breath work.
Mm.
Obviously you can't in the moment go into a deep meditation, but you can at least go into some breath work, mantras, thoughts, mindset, things that are going to help you get back into the flow. I started saying at the beginning, one of the somatic mindfulness practices I teach is, there is this thing. In other words, there is this emotion, there is this thought, there is this belief, whatever, but it's not who I really am. Creating
Mhm.
the space in
Yeah.
between to allow for you to come back into you and get back on course. I
Mm.
think
Yeah,
that's one
Mm.
and
way.
I think
Mm.
that reframe as well, we talked about this yesterday in, when we're in confusion and I don't know what to do about this and I don't what am I supposed to do and I don't know. And I was one of the practices that my friend Sharon will say when I say I don't know well, how this is going to turn out and she'll say, "What do you know?" And
Mhm.
so we can be in that reframe of, okay, I'm having this emotion or I'm having this experience or I have this belief and I have a desire to change that. What am I going to replace it with? because this idea of the universe hates a void, where if you take a rock
Mm,
out of the ocean, the wave comes and fills that space. So needing to replace it with a new mindset, a new thought.
yes. Yes. And so I've been doing this for like 22 years, right? So, and I'm always learning and always growing. And I think that's, we need to accept that part of this journey and why we're here is to grow and learn always. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter how old we are, right?
Mm-mm.
And one of the things that I learned, and that I think I still learn, or I come back to learning, I have opportunities for it, is that at the very essence of all of that, of replacing, is trust. Okay, because if you trust, you're trusting that whatever is going to be filled is going to be amazing.
Mhm.
So there's this like subconscious connection that's going on, that's always creating that good things are coming, whether you define what that is or not.
Mm,
Yes.
mm,
Yes, I understand what you're saying. Like just shifting it to not a specific, but a general, everything's always working out for me, or
yeah.
my good is
Yes.
coming, or whatever that
Yes.
that just feels better. I mean, sometimes the more general we are, the easier it
Yes.
is
Yeah.
to trust that that new statement is not a joke. I remember the
Right.
another snow shoveling story, because there, it's just those
We're
things
in New
that, like how you
England.
get all the downloads in the shower because you're not
Mm,
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
something else. But I was listening to a podcast with Gina DeVee, and she was talking about actually a ideal client checklist. And she was putting together a new program, and was saying, okay, this is who I want in here. And I don't want anybody that is negative. I want people that are
mm,
committed to their growth. I want this. And then she said, she started to feel like, oh, am I being picky? Am I allowed to do this? And then reminded herself that it's her company and her program. She can do whatever she
mhm.
wants. And
Mm,
so she invited the listener to decide, like, what are you unavailable for, or what are you available for? And I said out loud, I'm only available for what delights me. And
Yes.
then I laughed because I was like, "Oh, well, that's quite audacious, ma'am, as you shovel snow. Is that even true?" And then I thought, "Well, yes, I am delighted. I wanted to live in Massachusetts my whole life when I was in California. So I'm shoveling snow does delight me. And
Yeah.
what else delights me?" And so that whatever phrase that we're going to have take the place, it needs to be general enough that we can actually hang on to it. So it
yes.
doesn't, it's like those merry-go-rounds at the playground. You can
Yes.
get on there if you're starting it with your friends, but if you try to get on that thing when it's already spinning, it's going to knock
Yeah.
you off. So,
Right.
right. So these thoughts are close enough for us to reach that we can get a grip on it, and then we
Right.
can, go up the rungs of that ladder or
Yeah.
Yeah.
whatever on our way there. Mm, it's so
Absolutely.
good. Okay, so we're going to continue this conversation, but if anybody listening has any questions you want to drop in the chat for either Liz or Pamela, I'd be happy to read those, or if someone feels like they would rather unmute themselves. But just let me know. You can put that in the chat as well. But Liz, how are you?
How am I?
How are you? I know you're doing by being present. Like that's the answer to all of your all of the questions. So what are you finding in this new year, in this moment in time, in this transition where you're energetically ended your marriage, but know that you're, how are you navigating the in between?
It it all comes down to, well, it's presence.
Mhm. Next.
Um, yeah, next question. It's the present moment, Wendy. No, it's not like I say be present and
Well, that's where all our
I'm
power is.
it is where all the power
Mm.
is. And it's about noticing when I'm not in that power, when I've stepped out of the present moment. And over the last week and a half, I've actually had some plague of 2025 that I was coughing. Like I literally had to go in. It's almost like it's the end of this whole 10-month process I've been on where it's like, Liz, you must now all go in and bring in your energy and really sit with all of this. Um, it was like one of those things where it was like, I got sick. I have 2 dogs and the house and the weather, and my ex goes off to Florida with his current girlfriend, and I'm sitting in this. And there was a moment where I wanted to feel sorry for myself. I wanted to boohoo Liz, but because of the practices I do, because I've been doing this, I be eh, I can become aware very quickly that I have gone out into victimhood or outside the present moment and come back and be like, okay, do you need to feel sorry for yourself? Is that true? No, I'm in a warm house. Somehow I had enough energy to take the dogs for a short walk. It allowed me to celebrate how far I've come in this last
Mm.
10 months and how it was necessary. It was like me reminding myself how necessary all this is to can keep growing, keep moving to that next level, keep learning, keep having the experience so I can help other people. So once you start being, it's all about gratitude. So started being, then it steamrolls into like, what am I grateful for? Someone plowed my driveway, someone salted my driveway. Um, I don't have, I was able to, I don't have anything on my schedule this week. Indoor track just ended. So it just keeps going and going and going. So whenever I'm in these moments of transition, and I've been in many in my life, it's not like when I first started doing this, I so easily was able to be like, oh, I'm just going to be present. Oh, I'm just going to meditate. No, I literally was the person literally and figuratively running from the present moment, literally running from the present moment. And it wasn't until I had my first child that I realized at 9 months I was missing every single part of her life because I was wishing for it to be different. Like when she's 9 months, like when she's 3 months, she'll sleep through the night. When she's six
Mhm.
months, she'll be, then I'll be able to do this, and then I'll do this, and then and I realized, and then all of a sudden, like the universe started dropping things in my path that set me on to where I am now. But so the more when you start to do it, things keep getting dropped and you keep picking up the breadcrumb and picking up, and that keeps bringing you, bringing you, bringing you, bringing you. And I just keep using all the same tools I've always used. Breath, even for a minute, even while I'm driving, just deep breathing while I'm in line. Um, I had a moment this week where I was just like I was literally spinning out of control. I'm like, God, am I feeling swirly? What's going on? What do I need? And I'm like, just stop. I'm just washing dishes. Be in the washing the dishes. Be in the feeding the dogs. Because
Mhm.
in true presence, when I can use meditation or breath, or I talk out loud to myself, it's just a practice I have that really works for me is to talk out loud. As a self-projected projector, it really works for me. Writing, um, reaching out to a friend, which is something I wouldn't have done before this all
Mm.
happened. I
Mm.
really was someone who was like, I'll do this myself. I don't need anybody. But if there's anything all my growth has taught me and where I am now is actually we're not supposed to do it alone.
Mhm.
And I'm doing a disservice to my friends by telling them, no, I don't. putting my hand
Mm,
up and being like, no.
right.
Um, it's the give, receive, the give, receive. Um, so it's just a matter of finding that tool in that moment that's going to allow you to truly come back to right where you are,
Mm,
which can be driving your car, making your coffee. And and I have people that will say to me, well, how do I plan things from presence? How do, like, I need to plan the future. Well, you plan it from presence because you come back to presence and you sit in the planning of the future. You don't go to the future and plan from there. You're
mm,
here planning
mm.
it,
Right, because then it
right?
turns into that future tripping, like, well, then what if this happens? And oh my gosh, and what's
Yes.
that? Instead of
Yeah.
I've
sending email
had,
to Ina Garten, like that was planning the
yes,
future in the present moment.
yeah, exactly. So you sent, now your next action step is to send the email.
Mhm,
And it's listening to that. And it's
Hmm.
also listening to, why am I not sending the email? What's there for me that I'm not sending that email?
mhm,
Kind of thing. Like, I even, when I was in a with our mediator, and they're sitting there and they're both like, well, what if this happens? And what if this happens? And it was all around healthcare. And I'm like, isn't it? I said to them, I'm like, is any of that happening right now?
right.
And I don't, you guys seem to be really worried about my health care. I'm not. And the
Right.
mediator was like, I want to be where Liz is. And I'm like, well, you have to, I can share
Right.
with you all the
I
tools
have
I
this
use.
program. Let me send you
Yeah.
a link.
But anyway, it's just, I know I'm kind of like going all different directions, but it really is about having the tools that work for you, that speak to your heart. That's why I don't, like, people are like, well, what are the 3 steps? I don't know. Let's talk.
Mhm.
I need to know you. You're the only one that knows.
Mm,
Right.
You are really the only one with the map. You just
mm,
forgot that you have the map.
Yeah.
right.
So I'm just here to show you that maybe today it's just, how about we work on breathing for 1 minute? It's the little
Right.
baby tiny step. And
Yep.
then you go to the next step and the next
Right.
step.
Because you're
Just like
Right.
creating,
every step I took on the Camino.
yeah, you're creating a practice.
Yes.
You're creating a masterpiece. It's a brush stroke at a
Yes.
time.
Yes. I remember someone asked me how, before I left, how they couldn't grab it. How are you going to walk 500 miles? And I looked at him. I said, how? One step at a time.
Mhm.
I'm not walking it all at once.
Right.
Just like I'm not doing any of the I'm just here in this moment, talking with
Mhm.
all of these powerful women, and this powerful energy of all of this creative collaboration right here.
Mhm.
I'm fully here, and I'm not thinking about, like, when is this done? I got to go do this. No, I'm fully right here with everybody here. It's the only place to be, only place life is happening.
Beautiful. Pamela, how are
Hmm.
you? And then we'll go to these questions, but I want to ask you how, so in your work, and obviously you can only teach from what you've learned. So holding space for the emotions that are on the way to the emotion that is more desirable and more desirable by everybody, actually.
Right.
You know,
Hmm.
but holding space for yourself to feel overwhelmed, frustrated, angry in like crisis care. Like people are it takes so much to even acknowledge that you need help because you're feeling something that without, the middle school lunchroom in your head telling you how I can't believe you can't figure this out. And, every so many people have it worse and, all of those things. So how can you share about how you're bridging that gap without, you know, you do have to actually walk through that. You can't bridge it.
So I mentioned before that creating space, first of all, is essential because we start to believe when we're going through it with all the anger and the negative emotions, etc., that that's who we are.
Mm,
I'm walking around and it's suction cup to your face
mm-hmm.
that this is your life, right? And just separating that enough to create that space to go, this is not who you are.
Mm,
Mm,
And now let's be a little objective in terms of not judging it. It just is, right? Don't judge yourself, don't judge the emotion, just getting into that space of being as objective and neutral as possible. Okay.
mhm,
Then we can begin to change from there. It's like, again, think of the scale. If you're at the bottom, you want to get to the middle, to the neutral point
mm,
first, and then you can begin to kind of expand a little bit from there.
mm,
Um, and it does require looking into some fears. We don't have to go super, super deep, but we need to go into some of it and to reflect back that you do have courage. You have the courage to face this. And again, you are stronger than you think you are. And now, what's possible for you?
mm,
Right? How are we going to change this reality for you? What is it that, there you start to think big and you start to really think, oh my God, I can change everything right now. And that can be a really good thing.
right.
And
I
I,
think
and
there's
I,
so, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, and I
No,
have the
finish your thought.
power to do
Hmm.
that.
yeah,
Yes. And I think that that's what, for me, anger was not a tolerable emotion
yeah,
in my house growing up. In fact, I didn't realize this until actually pretty recently. We weren't allowed to even use the word stressed or
Mm,
depressed or
mm,
bored. Like that's for other people, not for
mm,
us. And so even when Amelia was learning in health class about stress, and she would say, Mom, I don't like to feel rushed. You're stressing me out. I'm like, oh, no, 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 you're not stressed. What are you talking about? You know, like, how would I know what's
yeah,
happening in my body and
yeah,
pretending to know? But it was just this um, script
learned.
that was
mm,
very accessible. And so for me, as I am just held in such a beautiful community with trusted people, many that are on this call right now, and holding space for me to not sit in my anger, but sit with my anger and actually play the tape out, because for me what my resistance to it was, I don't know, like, what happened if I fall in there. Like, I'm sure it's deep and scary and there's
Mm,
crying and gnashing of teeth, like it's hell. But to find out that I'm just thinking of Amelia used to play in the creek, and I would tell her, honey, if you're playing in there, if something happens, you lose your footing and you fall in, don't panic, just stand up, because the water's only this deep and you're fine. But if you panic, obviously, like, something bad could happen.
right.
And to find out that the same was true as I'm dipping my toe in, well, can I really be angry? Like, is that safe? Is that attractive? Is that
mm,
what I even want to do? And I recently have been practicing some rage walking, and it's like, I think I'm gonna offer it once I own that pretty across the way. I'm like, I see an event. There's rage walking, there's a bonfire, we're going in the pond, there's a full moon, like, it's all good. But it's this thing of playing that tape out and finding that there's an end to the angry thought. I can say it, and then
yeah,
I can say, oh, that actually isn't dipping from my happy high vibe. My happy high vibe was actually more of a toxic positivity, a feeling of powerlessness that I put a happy face sticker over
Yeah.
so that I don't know, that I could enjoy my existence. And so moving through that anger was actually such a long way to a ham sandwich. Actually less scary than I thought it would
Yeah.
be. Now I visit it. I visit it and I say, "Oh, that was mad." And I don't have to be mad for a long time and I don't have to rage walk. I can just say, "Oh, well that sucks." And that also has nothing to do with me.
Right. Right. In a way, that's that the rage or the anger, which I think can be so healthy when we use it to
Mhm.
move to move to move forward to
Mhm.
whatever it is, right? It's kind of like a crisis in and of itself because it's that catalyst
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
making you move.
Right. Pissed off people change the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. They definitely
I don't
do.
want to
And I
stay
would
there,
no. Well,
right?
that's the key. The
Yeah.
key is the mind wants you to stay in it and in the drama, but it's
Mhm.
the emotion comes in and we see it. What is that all about? We, like you said, we sit with it and then we let it move through
Mhm.
Mhm.
without attaching to it because
Right.
the
Right.
mind wants you to attach to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm
Yep.
so new that my mind doesn't want to attach to it yet, but I'll keep that in mind when you when you see like, Wendy, I noticed that all of your walking is rage walking, then you can remind me of this conversation.
Wendy, I think we need to talk. Can we talk for a moment?
Right, we can. You can have an intervention. I'm totally here for it. Okay, so we had a question for you, Liz.
Hmm.
Is there value in acknowledging the feeling before coming back to presence? For example, what was the origin of feeling squirrely when you were washing the dishes?
So when I have a feeling come in, no matter what it is on the scale, so it can be anywhere from deep pain to all the way up to joy. Um, I always check in with myself, asking what do you need me to know? I
Mm,
always ask the feeling, what is it that you need me to know?
mhm,
And sometimes I get an answer right away, and sometimes it comes later, but I ask it. I don't try to suppress it or make it not be what it is. I'm just always asking it like, what is it? Even with pain, what do you need me to know right now?
mhm,
And then I sit with it or I move on with, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, like literally a song will come on and be like, oh, or it'll show me like a habit that needs more inspection that
mm,
isn't actually serving me anymore.
mm,
Um, yeah. So and sometimes, but by coming back to the presence, like I'm feeling this, but I need to just be present and do what I'm doing in this moment, allows that space to be created for the answer to show up. Yeah.
mm. Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
As we close up, Pamela, I would love for you to, if there's anything that you want to share, any closing thoughts about our conversation, but also any invitations that you have for work that you're doing. Yesterday, it just kind of happened that each of our sessions gave us a question to consider and answer either collectively here or on our own. And what you just said, Liz, about asking that emotion, what does it want you to know? I was reminded of um, a practice that I learned from Liz Gilbert in a journal prompt of what does love want you to know
Mm,
today?
mm,
And I think that that's such a beautiful question that we can that we can sit with. And of course,
Mm,
it's on theme, on brand, and it's so beautiful to be able to write that out, as our panelist yesterday, Stephanie Affinito, was saying about when you write something down, that's how it gets in there. Like that's what did she say, Sharon? She said something scientific. Do you remember? That she was I'm looking at my notes to see if I wrote down, but anyway, there's some neuro pathway situation of when you write something down that it really is it goes straight into your toolbox, like of your problem solving repertoire. Um, so I would love for that to be our question of what love wants you to know.
mm,
And if you wanted to take a minute to just think of that and share that, both of you, as we close out, and then I'll have you share. And I'm totally happy to go first since I just sprung it on all of us, including myself. But I would say,
mm,
love wants me to know that I'm known and seen
mm,
and
mm,
heard and loved.
mm, mm. Thank you for sharing
You
that with
are.
us. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. And you certainly are.
Mm,
Yes. Yeah.
I guess I'll go next. Kind of on those same lines, but a little bit different. Love wants me to know personally that it's safe for me to show up.
mm,
It's safe for me to show up just as I am. There's a whole lot behind that, which we don't have time for today. But
Beautiful. That's okay. Love requires no explanations.
Mm,
mm,
It was your message. How about you, Liz?
mm. Love wants me to know my value is not tied up in anyone or anything. It's not tied up in being married,
Mm,
and that I'm meant to be my full self-projected projector self, whether everyone understands it or not.
yeah. I agree with
Mm,
love.
mm. I do too, always.
I just want you to know
say yes.
both of your love radars working, and I agree and receive those messages on your behalf for you as well.
Yay.
Can I read
uh
a poem?
oh yes, of course.
So, a book that was placed into my hands after some things went down in my life almost a year ago, is called You Could Make This Place Beautiful by Maggie Smith. And she's this beautiful, beautiful poet, but she wrote this beautiful book that's in its different vignettes. And at the end, and I'll try to get through it without crying, but she wrote this beautiful poem called Bride that I just felt is so appropriate for what we're talking about these last couple days. Bride.
It's
How
2:22.
long?
It's
Oh,
2:22.
I love that. Thank you for telling me.
You're welcome.
Um, how long have I been wed to myself, calling myself, darling, dressing for my own pleasure each morning, choosing perfume to turn me on, How long have I been alone in this house, but not alone? Married less to the man than to the woman's silvering with the mirror. I know the kind of wife I need, and I become her. The one who will leave this earth at the same instant I do. I am my I am my own bride, lifting the veil to see my face. Darling, I say, I have waited for you my whole life.
Mm.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you,
Pleasure.
Wendy.
Just another day at the office.
Yeah. I like these days at the office. These are my favorite
Yeah,
kind.
yeah,
Conversation,
Excellent.
questions.
Oh my
I
gosh, I love it.
agree.
Obsessed. Okay, so in closing, Pamela, please tell us what is on your heart, what you're working on, what you have available to invite people into. What do you want us to know?
It's coming out here.
Okay.
Um, what's on my heart doesn't necessarily translate to what's in my offerings, for people. So, but what's in my heart is certainly making connections and genuine connections. And I again really am privileged to be sharing in this connection with all of you. And thank you, Wendy, for hosting it. Um, in terms of my offerings for people, I have two programs, coaching programs. One is for a type of personal crisis, whatever it is that you may be going through. And the other is specifically for family caregivers who are in burnout, and need a way through that, and help in gathering the support that they need to nurture themselves. So those are two different programs that I am offering, and just moving forward with that right now. Um, hopefully there'll be more to come.
For
Um,
sure there will.
yeah, I don't
And I
know
think
about.
it's so important because of this time, as you said, like what's on your heart's over here, what's on your website's over here. I think they're so integrated. Obviously,
Mm,
it's you.
mhm.
And the beauty of conversations like this that are extended, that everybody listening has glimpsed into your soul, which is better than any LinkedIn profile that is available. So
Right.
when they are in conversations with somebody who is caring for an elderly parent in their home or in, whatever they're going, whatever they're experiencing, or some in conversation with someone who's in personal crisis, you will come to mind. So it's not necessarily how can you sell from the stage to the people on this call. It's not that, right? It's
No.
all of this is, and I know you know this, but I just want to encourage you in this because it can feel like, oh, let me bare my soul and then hand you my business card. It can be disconnected. And what
Mm,
I desire is to normalize these beautiful transactions because they're transactions of the heart. They're transactions of service and contribution that are in service, that are a contribution that have great impact. And it's just a nugget that we can all tuck away for the
mhm.
conversations we are absolutely sure to have randomly now as a result of this conversation. So thank you for the work that
Yeah,
you do.
Mm.
thank you. I'll receive that. Thank you.
My pleasure. Liz, how about you, honey?
Um, I too am grateful for being here. I mean, this is kind of what I do, sit in conversation and answer questions where invited. Um, What's on my heart is I actually don't really have any real offerings right now. I'm allowing it to just kind of come to me right now. I'm kind of going where I'm invited, for example, here. And I'm going to be speaking at some small companies, teaching presence is the way. Um, I think I would love if it feels aligned with you, join my email list. It's where I share writing, wisdom, inspiration, presence is the way, all the things. And you can also hear about what's coming. I'm in behind the scenes writing a book, um, and
And
starting a
planning a trip.
podcast.
And
Yep.
planning a trip
I'm
to the
planning a
Camino.
trip. Yes. And starting a podcast. So there's
Mm,
definitely things happening. It's yeah, I'm just following where the breadcrumbs take me.
mm,
Amazing. Oh my
nice.
gosh. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so much for
thank you.
saying yes.
Mm. Thank you for asking the question for us to say yes to.
I have so many
Yeah.
questions. So many invitations. You don't
Yes.
even know. I just need a longer table and more guest rooms. That's what's on my heart. Welcome back. Already our last session. Darn it. Now I'm sad. I love beginnings so much. And so yesterday was definitely flying high, knowing that I was gonna get a whole nother day of this. And now just like see this happens in wedding planning also. I meet the people, we're figuring out the timeline, and then all of a sudden we're at the end of the day. So
Mm,
that is, it's a part of this, but it's okay because it has been so life-giving and we're not quite done yet. We have our last session with my two fire emojis, Raya and Anna. I'm so delighted to have you both here. Before I have you introduce yourselves, I'm going to introduce you in and just say what I know to be true about you in our experience, and then I'll have you say all the other things that you want people to know. So, Anna, I so appreciate you. I appreciate how you own your experience and articulate how you are owning it even more. You just take every opportunity and up level it and create 14 new businesses out of it and sail around the world and get a blimp and all of these things. Nothing is surprising to me when it falls out of your mouth as far as like, oh yeah, well, when we were in Turkey or whatever, like you just have all of these great stories that are so fabulous and you don't share those things like as a way to name drop of your fabulous life, but as to really model what's possible when you choose yourself, when you set an intention and keep your eye on the prize. And of course, you're available for other goodness that gets added on the side, but you're doing it, Queen. And I applaud your, I don't want to say efforts, because I think that you also do it in a way that feels very abundant and it takes all day long every day, but it is also refreshing you until it isn't. And then
mm,
you put a pause and you get yourself refreshed and then you come back in with 18 more ideas of what happened when you paused. And I love that what I also know of you is how integrated you are with your beautiful husband and
mm,
how he supports you and the work that you're doing in the world
mhm,
in such a gorgeous way. Even the summit that I had the honor of being a presenter on two of your summits,
mhm,
and the fact that he was mediating the questions, and he was letting
Mhm.
people into the Zoom room and making sure they
Mhm.
were okay and
Mhm.
taking care of everything so that you could just be in your magic.
Mhm.
I really appreciate you showing me what's possible with that. So thank you. I just think that you really, I have many examples in my life of this, but in fact, three of you on this call, in addition to Anna, also model what partnership in a marriage looks like. And it's really, really stunning and beautiful. And I know that it takes all day long, every day, just like everything that we're doing to do well. But I just want you to know that it's has a ripple effect, and I'm really grateful.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. But I want to say, I can, the coaching hat never comes off. So I just want to say about the summit, because I know like beginnings are so fun and then the endings we say are sad, but it doesn't ever really end because I lead summits a lot, right? Like I just led two. I was just emailing before this summit all of the speakers that I had on the summit in January, and then the other speakers from the summit in February, and then the list of the people that attended and all of that. So they're just in your bubble now.
Yep.
And it'll morph and you'll go to France with them next year.
Yeah.
Or this year. I don't know. Who
Yeah.
cares?
No, it's fun. In fact,
Yeah,
our
and
other
that's
our
so
in our
fun.
last session,
Yeah.
Liz is going on my trip to Normandy with me. So fun.
Liz Wood, my friend.
No, Liz
Oh,
McCutcheon, my
she's
friend.
Liz though, she's gonna go.
Oh, good, good, good.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't
Great.
know it maybe, but yeah.
Right, of course. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and it's so fun because these summits are, they came from my 1 year's worth of expansion in the month of January that I
Yeah.
experienced. And so we have the April summit is already full of speakers. We've got June, we have August and November. So
Yep.
there are a lot more, but I desire to spend my days doing this.
Yeah.
And just, maybe not in this particular room every time. So that will be fun as well. But yes, so thank you for that. I received that
You got it.
and completely agree. So please continue with your introduction.
What is there to say that you haven't said? I'm Anna K. Morris. Took me 11 years to finally change my name. So I've been married for, you brought up my husband Derek, and I think on the topic of saying yes and how I want to introduce myself, because like the stuff and all that, like that's arbitrary. Anybody can do the stuff that I've done if you want to, if it's like a calling in your heart. And for me, the greatest thing that I've ever said yes to was number one, myself. And number two, to find a partner to walk through my life with. Right. I have a dog that's getting very comfortable underneath me right now. So if you're groaning, it's not me.
Yep.
I cannot throw my voice. It is my 11 and a half year old dog, Barney. And my parents split up when I was 22 years old and living in New York, so I didn't have like I want to get married. Even when I said I left New York, Raya, earlier, I left to meet the man of my dreams, get a dog in a backyard with twinkle eyes. I didn't say marriage. I didn't say husband. So the saying yes part, we've hit some really hard times. And the question is not, do I want to be married to him? Because the answer has quite frankly been no some of the time. But the other question, the deeper question, which is always what I'm coaching myself to find and my clients to understand how to look for the deeper question is he the person for you to spend your life with? And that answer has always been yes. Even when I haven't liked him, even when I haven't wanted to be in the marriage, that underbelly of the question, that answer has been yes. And so I think it's so critical what you're doing with this summit, because our yeses are oftentimes not our own.
Mm.
They
Mhm.
just aren't. You think that they're yours, they're your family's, if you're a woman, they're oftentimes your mother or the opposite of your mother. It's usually one hard lean. Um, and it really takes practice and getting quiet, um, and becoming like the best journalist you've ever met in your entire life to yourself, right? About what it is that's a holy yes. And when you lead from that place, it's really, really easy. Now, people might not like it, and that's something to work through. But the saying yes part, I believe, is the answer to everything. It's the answer to ease, I really think we're all looking for kind of relief from the pressure that we put on our lives.
Yes, and I believe that what you're saying in the saying yes being the answer is really the knowing what my yes is
Yeah.
and saying it.
And
Yeah.
so, who I am as a coach is I've been a student of journaling for 17 years. I got Jedi mind tricked into it by an executive business coach. So a lot of times I have coached the artist way for years, and people will often assume that I came to journaling through Morning Pages and Julia Cameron's fantastic book, The Artist Way, but it's not. I came through it really kicking and screaming, didn't want to do it, thought it was a waste of time. And it was in those pages that I discovered my yeses.
Mhm.
And it's in those pages right now that I still write boringly every single day for 45 minutes. When people are like, what if somebody reads my journal? I'm like, how can I curse on this?
Sure.
Okay. I'm like, how fucking boring. Like, get rid of that person. Cause like, what are you doing with your time that you want to read my stupid journal? It's talking about the same thing over and over and over again until I have a breakthrough and then I find another problem. Then I write about that. And so I really have found that the answer for myself and for everybody that I've worked with is to write it down and see it on paper, because
Mm.
it takes the hook that our struggles have over us, and it helps you to work it through on the pages. So that's what I do. And
Great.
I'm thrilled.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I love the color of your shirt. I just have
Oh,
to
thank you very much.
beautiful. That's a hard color to pull off. You're pulling it off.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I like the puffy.
If I were nearby, I would borrow it.
Oh, well, I would let you. Raya, my gosh, you are the newest of my circle of queens, especially on this particular summit. And there are just those times when you meet somebody and have an opportunity to have an expansive conversation that just, I found myself reminding myself that we had just met during our podcast interview, and you hold such beautiful, sacred space. You're so open. I mean, obviously, it was an interview. So, of course, you're not going to, it's not like I sat next to you on the airplane or something, but it's still a decision. We have a decision all the time of how am I going to show up? And when it's with somebody new, we can make up how we show up. We can just decide in that moment. But what I so appreciated about you was your presence, was your availability in the midst of what was going on around you that was quite chaotic. You had relocated yourself during the fires and were on your way back home, not knowing exactly what you would find there. And it was just a very gorgeous conversation. I knew I wanted more of you. And as I continue to learn more about you and what you do, I for sure want more of you. It's so amazing and so full of curiosity and discovery, but also from a really aligned, safe place. And I love that about you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your introduction that comes in the flavor of reflecting the qualities of our essence, as opposed to leading with what it is that we do, right? Like the label that we can place on ourselves to be known by others. And it's just such a delight to receive that gift from you. So thank you for that
My
uh,
pleasure.
reflection and for seeing me. I really appreciate you. And it was very mutual for me too when we met.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I guess to add to that, I will start by saying that I'm someone who's had a very colorful career path, and I am at a crossroad where
Mhm.
I am, for the first time in my life, emerging as a published author, and I have a very diverse background that has fed into my writing and that I hope will continue to feed everything that I do. So at this point in life, in the way that I'm saying yes, is to say yes to the unknown and not knowing what something looks like. And further to Anna's point, in gathering and garnering the self-awareness to have the discernment of like, what really is my yes and what's my conditioned yes of what I think I need to do or be in order to just express myself and be myself. So I really appreciate these opportunities for it being an arena and a laboratory where we can cross-pollinate the who are we and have a rich conversation about who we're becoming and what that feels like, even if we don't know exactly what it looks like. So that's my point of view from this moment right here.
Oh, I love it. And it's so true because I I can't identify who I am. There is no bio that can fit in let alone every year that I live, but every day that I live. And did I moderate a summit that day? Did I have 5 podcast interviews in a row that day? Because I'm going to add more things to the bio. It's this constant evolution and growth and expansion and invitation, and it can't be defined unless you do have a journalist following you around, like you mentioned, Anna, being your own journalist. The only way for anyone to know who I am in this moment would be to read my journal, but then you're going to have to read it tomorrow. Like, it's a full-time job. So I'm loving this idea and invitation to know when it's appropriate to present a resume and when we're working with a live document. And that's what this is, right? We are, as you said, becoming. We talked about this yesterday in the session with Jarena and Nancy. It's so beautiful, right? Like this whole thing. I just to get the idea and I send the email and 8 people in one day say yes to February. I say, awesome, let's do it. It's a theme of love, which could there be a more expansive word? And getting some questions of, oh, how can I prepare? Do you have a list of questions? I'm like, oh, no. Are we just going to have a conversation? So knowing that being present is the way that we're being prepared and preparing for these types of conversations, but also just in that, taking these nuggets of, oh, how do I want to answer that question? Who am I becoming was the question that came out of Nancy and Jarena's session. The question that came out of Stephanie and Sharon's question was, what do I know? So in response to, instead of this confusion of, I don't know what to do about this, I don't know how this is going to work out, but this grounding question of what do I know when you're at a transition in your life, whether it's divorce or your kids go to college or you're retiring or whatever's next, and you're like, I don't even know who I am. We switched it to who am I becoming? And I think in this today's session, the earlier one with Pamela and Liz, we were answering the question, what does love want you to know? And they're all just so beautiful. And I'm so excited to find out what question comes out of this conversation. But I just love this idea of evolving and growing at such a rate that it can't be tracked. And that's desirable because the trajectory is really focused on my relationship with me, and that there's not a lot of input that is necessary or that I'm available for as I'm on this road. I would love to know what comes up for either of you, both of you, in response to that.
For me, I feel this bubbling inside around almost everything in life, from my perspective, does come back to the awareness of self, and that everything we choose to do in life, whether it's oriented around what we love and enjoy doing or who we love and enjoy being with, it is at the core around self-love, and that we're all here to shine and be the light that we are. And that for me is self-love. And so, just further to what you were saying earlier, Wendy, about how rich is it to start the conversation of who am I, and introducing each other with a question of who am I becoming in this moment, because we are continually changing. And that's the truth, is that we are more dynamic than we probably ever acknowledge most of the time.
Mm.
So for me, it's about being in that eternal discovery of who am I, and how does that essence of me, that light in me, find enjoyment right now in being expressed, in feeling connection, in creating, in choosing someone who I enjoy intimacy with. It's all about the who am I now, and being in the truth of that as much as possible, which is pretty much a full-time job, really. I mean, it
Right.
is a
Which
full-time.
is, and it's in service to us, because when
Absolutely.
we are full-time job focusing on our own becoming,
Yes.
we're not going to get hung up
Yes.
on what other people are doing or not doing, or falling short, or
Yeah.
comparing ourselves to them. Like, it's just staying in our lane. And I want to hear what you have to say about all of this, Anna, and with balancing staying in your lane while raising young children and being married and living down the street from your mother and like all of these things.
Um, I mean, I just want to say that, like, I don't know your personal journeys, but like, I didn't come out like this. I was not, this was not a, self-love was not a conversation in my house. So I just like to level the playing field, right? Like, this was a hard knock life to get on a self-love summit. Like, if you would have told me 17 years ago that I would be like, F off. Like, no, that's never going to happen. I looked confident. You would say that I was a confident person, and I was not. I did not like who I was when I looked in the mirror. And it was not a good time to unravel all of the ways that I had abandoned myself. for the sake of my family, of looking good, of doing what I was supposed to do, what good girls do, like all of that. And New York was my teacher, right? Like all of my 20s into my early 30s. And it took like waking up and saying, like, I don't think I really like any, it wasn't one thing. It was everything that I didn't really like when I got honest. Now I couldn't start with that. It started with like, I don't think I like my job. I also don't like the industry. Oh, I don't like my career. Okay, what now? So then it, all of this. And this was when I started journaling. But I remember thinking in the mirror one day, I lived on 75th and First. And I remember I had this great apartment and it was all mine. I had this really tragic breakup and, really narrow hall. Like they had to pull the sofa up through the window because like the apartment was big enough, but the hallway wasn't. And I remember being in this tiny bathroom. I don't know if I was crying or not, but I cry a lot. So probably, let's say I was. And I remember thinking, all I want is to look in the mirror and like myself. And I just want that. I just want me to be enough. And that's all I'm looking for 17 years later. It's still exactly the same. The outward expression has changed, right? Like I was in bed this morning journaling. I've got 2 little boys who are gorgeous and healthy. And I had them in my 40s and like their health was never a concern. It all just worked. I've got these 2 rescue dogs that I always wanted. I've got this gorgeous husband who's literally the best partner I could ask for, and just the most extraordinary father. And they're all sleeping. We don't all sleep in bed together, by the way. This is just what happens around 6 a.m. Everybody climbs into our bed. And I'm journaling and I'm like, wow, it really all did happen. And my next thought was, because this is how sneaky we are, I wonder what's next. Because we're always becoming. Like there I am, 17 years prior, so lonely, so desperately quiet in the apartment, thinking I would be alone forever, right? And now all I want is a quiet house, right? Flip is true. But the thing has stayed constant, which is I look in the mirror and I am proud of myself. And if I don't talk to anybody all day long, that's great with me. And if I talk to a bunch of people, that's great too. And so there's a peace that comes when you really know yourself. That's no value can be put on, right?
Right.
And I think we're all just walking home to that. And it manifests in different ways. And I think that feels, that feels to me like self-love. Self-love is not, I take a bath every night, but it doesn't have, it's not like, it's telling the truth that like, no, I don't want to go to that, yes, I do want to be on that summit. No, I don't want to do that other thing. Oh, I'm actually really burnt out. I think I've overdone it. My pendulum's always swinging, trying to find the center. So I don't know if that answers the question, but I just like looking in the mirror. Like Derek said to me yesterday on like my 17th load of laundry, he was like, so I don't know, something had happened. And he was like, so you just like figured that out? Something about the kids' clothes. And I was like, well, yeah. And he was like, you're such a good mom.
Oh, nice.
And what felt really good was when I said next was, thanks, I really am. And I wasn't always able to do that. But now I'm like, when he said that, like, I was like, yeah, I really am a good mom. And to be able to hear people say kind things to you and be like, yeah, I'm a really good friend, or whatever it is, fill in the blank. And not from a place of ego or the fake confidence that I have felt before, but just from a place of knowing that I am.
Sure.
Feels really good.
We've talked so much on the previous session with Liz and Pamela about presence, and that's so much about what you're talking about. And we
Yeah.
call it so many different things: checking in, what does my body need, stopping to take a deep breath. But it is this practicing of being in the present moment and really caring for ourselves, trusting that we know what we need and that we will be guided to what's next. Do you find, Raya, that is that a practice that comes easily to you? Is that something I have a very, as I mentioned, you're my new girl. So I'm just eager to hear, how is that playing out? How has this evolution worked for you? Even though it's, I know we haven't not reached a destination, but how has this process been for you?
It's such a great question. As Anna was sharing about her own experience of presence and feeling that peace, I was so curious, like, what is her way? Because I feel we really do each have our own way. And part of it for me has been honoring how I know I connect with myself as opposed to reaching for how others are teaching how to connect with self.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so while this practice of coming back to myself and having honest conversations with myself and honest unravelings and reckonings about what do I really want and where am I not abandoning myself or dismissing or denying a desire for the sake of fearing that I'll lose connection or fearing that I'll lose pleasure or security or any of those things that as humans we gravitate towards and can easily deny ourselves. So for me, at this point, it's a lot different than it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, it was about being honest about how I feel, about how my heart feels, and expressing the truth of my emotions in every moment because I had grown up in a household where expressing emotions was not safe. And I was often, my feelings were never validated. So I just thought they weren't important and I needed to get on with them and put on a happy face.
Right.
So that
Amen.
part evolution.
Yeah. Oh, we're sisters. Okay, good.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
Oh,
nice
that
to meet
we
you.
grew up in the same house.
How about that?
yes, unfortunately, it is very common.
Right. Well, I won't say all of my emotions weren't validated. The happy ones were.
The happy ones were,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say for me, it was sometimes they were, sometimes they weren't. So even happiness and being in the joy, I could often think wasn't important. It was more about achieving and performing and
Mm.
being a certain way that was perfect in a way. I had two parents who were very focused on different versions of perfection. So that's kind of been my
Mm.
nemesis in my growth over the years. So as I got more in touch with being honest with my emotionality and expressing my feelings, that opens up a lot of freedom. However, what it doesn't necessarily point to is having a clear understanding of what it is that I need and desire in the moment for
Right.
myself. So now I feel I'm a lot more nuanced now, at least with my self-inquiry in how am I judging a situation or myself or someone else, and looking at what is the truth under that, where I have an underlying need that is unvoiced or unexpressed, and then letting go of all the charge around being able to speak that truth. And that's an art that I am continually in the practice of. And it does take time and attention to do that. So for me, it looks like definitely meditating in the morning because that's where I can feel my center and my lightness and that kind of eternal truth of who I am without all the ideas. And that's always tremendously helpful. And then when I feel myself buttressing up against an inner conflict, then that's when I start to do inquiry work with myself. And I work also with a coach who it just makes it more fun, and being in this practice of constantly gaining awareness. I find it's fun to do with others. So
Agreed.
yeah, that's been wonderful. But that's basically my practice, is really being in the inquiry around what is really true. Is it really true that this person in front of me doesn't care about what I need? And oftentimes that's not the case at all. It's really something else. So that's my practice at the moment.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Anna, do you have something that you would like to add or say? I saw a lot of nodding, and I don't have to be the only one that speaks when the other person is done. So I would love for this to be really collaborative.
Yeah, I mean, I love what Raya shared about just that practice of self inquiry, and meditation is such a powerful tool to remind us to slow down, and that the answer is in here, not out there. And I love what you said about working with a coach, because it is more fun. I tend to get like, so like, and then you need to do, and then I'm like, wait, I forgot that like every time I'm with a coaching client, like we just laugh the whole time and then cry and then some more laughing. And like, it is more fun to do it with somebody, and thank you for that reminder that it's fun. And something that I went down the rabbit hole of Raya's Instagram and website, and something that I wanted to point out about Raya is your background in dance. And anytime you are up here, you want to get in your body as quickly as possible. And dance is a really good, easy way to do that. Right. Like I have really resisted like domesticity, right? I come from like a stay at home mom. My mother was actually a home economics major in school. Like that's a thing, which is great because she knows how to sew, like do all the things that I don't know how to do. And I have my own business. And so like I can get judgmental of myself and what I'm choosing to do. I can get judgmental of her and the way I feel that she's judging me, all judgment stuff everywhere. And I remember like tackling dishes by putting on a great song and getting it, because I'm a yoga and meditation teacher who like really should have been in a Janet Jackson Rhythm Nation video. Like from as like I've been doing like, like that's a part of me that just got quieter and quieter until I lived in New York, and we would all go dancing all the time. And it's really about getting in your body, however it is that you can get there. And that's something, Raya, that I would love to hear more about, like dancing, because there's just not time for this. We can't think as fast as we can move.
Mhm. So true.
Yeah. So would you say a little bit about that?
Oh, thank you for that question. One of
Yeah.
my favorite.
Literally when I was on your website, I'm like, oh my gosh, dancing. And I think that it's such a little hidden gem.
Mhm.
And it's more fun than we will let ourselves have often.
It can be, yes. I will frame my answer to this question by saying that I have discovered renewed freedom through dance, again, just like in different ways and new ways, just like I have with finding presence with myself. And so my history and my background, one of the biggest childhood wounds that I needed to heal was shut down from my sensuality. So while I grew up in ballet classes, and then in my 20s, I tried to find ways to liberate myself with African dance, which was wonderful because it's so primal and you're outside of the box of perfection. My real growth and understanding with the medicine of dance came when I needed to reform a new connection with my sensuality. And I pole danced in New York for many years as part of that sacred practice with S Factor.
With S Factor. I remember when they came out. Yeah. And one of my clients is a pole dancing instructor.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's so fun. Yeah.
Okay, stop for a second.
Yeah. Well, you
Um,
didn't know we were going here?
I'm so happy to go here, and it's uncharted territory for me, and I'm loving it because I want to know this. Say more about, again, like with these tolerated emotions in my house, the happy ones were allowed, and the ones that are acceptable for church, because my dad was a pastor. So the idea of sacred and pole dancing,
Mhm.
I cannot wait to hear more.
Oh, I have so much to say about this.
I'm so excited because this is so, I mean, not to turn it into my own therapy session, but
It is. It's your own
there are some,
participating.
like, there are things that happen in your family of origin or conditioning that comes up that is then, validated in your marriage for good or bad. And then, like, again, because this isn't a podcast, this is behind a paywall, I will say, I had a 22-year marriage with very, very, very little intimacy and none for the last 10 years of it. So, this idea that I can expand, that I can own every part of my life, that part feels, it doesn't feel inaccessible. It feels like I've got a master's degree over here in some other things because I've been doing the work, and that I'm a kindergartner and I don't even know how to start. So just even this beautiful idea that there's something sacred to it and not, I'm going to get in trouble, or no one wants to see this on a poll, or any, like, all of that. So I'm so eager for your answer. No pressure.
In my sandbox.
Okay, good. I'm glad you don't feel pressured to fix
Not at
all of
all.
my wounding in one.
Oh no. Oh no. I've faced so much in myself around this, and I really appreciate the dearth of unlived sexual expression and how much grief that I lived through in not living my full sensual and sexual expression. There are two different.
Right. I lived a very full sexual expression prior to these marriages. So
Yeah, so it's
that's the other, sorry, not to,
yeah.
but just to say, like, the bridge of not being wrong.
Yes, yes, yes. No, this was one of my core wounds. So I understand it very deeply. And um, let's see. So under the umbrella of sacred and sensual connection, just like with anything, it starts with the connection with ourselves. So for me, what my relationship was with myself in that sacred time of me discovering what felt good and right and pleasurable in my body without the shame, without the judgment, without the shutdown of feeling that this is too much or not enough. I mean, constantly toggling between all of those narratives. The act, and this was such an important part that I discovered, thank goodness, very early in my unraveling, is the slow, sensual movement while being connected to our emotional life and allowing everything to live, all the emotions to live in the body and be expressed pleasurably through the senses in a way that feels intuitive and, very importantly, not performative, which so
Right.
often when we go to dance classes and sometimes even to a public place to dance and let it out, there is this aspect of being seen, of others seeing us, and then the overlay of how we see ourselves within that. And so
Totally.
having that really personal, private dark room. Like S Factor was always, when I was doing it, was 8 women, usually not more than that. And the lights were very dim. And there was a teacher in the middle of the room prompting us with things like, now, run your fingers through your hair and feel and notice and put the attention on how your own hair feels running through your fingers. And it also becomes a practice of being very much in the moment, so that those ideas that are hardwired in the body that create fear around, oh, is this too much? Is it safe to do this? Is it unsafe? A new patterning can start to rewire in our bodies that is safe and grounding while feeling connected to pleasure. And that was very much my journey for many years in training not only my body and giving myself permission and constantly extending that invitation to myself, but also coming back, like training my brain to be in the moment of
Right.
following sensation.
Exactly. Someone had a question, so I want to, because I
Yeah,
think that's, you just
great.
answered it in that. It is the difference between sensuality and sexual, or sensual and sexual. And I think it is, again, what we've been talking about over these 2 days, this presence, this, how do I feel in my body? How do I feel? What do my fingers feel when I'm touching my hair? And what does my body feel when my hair is being touched? And that's powerful, because I'm doing both of those things. And that's the whole unleashing of all of this. And I'm like, I didn't mean to cut you off, and I'm so eager to hear more, but I love that. I don't know anything about this X Factor situation and lights low and women by themselves. And that is, it's awesome, because what you were saying as well about the performative piece, I was a wedding planner. So for 30 years, I've been in the back of the room with the clipboard watching the dance party. I'm not on the dance floor. Like, I would say I don't know how to dance. So I would be all up in my head if any lights were on. I've been asked to leave aerobic classes because I do have very I have a lack of grammar, apparently, and a lack of rhythm. So I would be very much I love everything that you're saying. All of those words to say, keep going.
It's very powerful. This notion of being in communion with ourselves while connected to our senses, and using that as a divining device, if you will, to know our own pleasure and to know our own presence at the same time. And then further to your point, Wendy, about being in the background, there was another very important piece for me as I was rewiring my own nervous system to feel safe and free with my sensual expression, was being celebrated by other women and just being seen in my full expression that way, and hearing the celebrations of other women kind of like just cheering me on. There is nothing like it. It just validates in the entire nervous system. And I've since gone on, just as a side note, to study trauma release, because I started helping other women connect with their sensuality. And of course, so much trauma comes up. So I'm trained in a couple of different trauma modalities, and it's this everything almost that I learned even before I went into the training was taught in the trauma practices. And one of them is that you really let your body bask in that, those sensations in the body where you feel pleasure, where you feel safety, where you feel grounded. And then one of them is feeling the triumph. It's feeling the triumph of having done or expressed something through your body that is expanding you in some way. And that was a really important piece that I didn't know would be part of my trauma training. And it makes sense, right? Because when there is that external celebration, it just validates the bliss and the sensorial bliss and pleasure that we're connecting with in real time, in reality, in the moment, without the narratives
Right.
in mind. So it helps to amplify that widely.
Yes. I
So
love that. And I love that you brought up the triumph piece, because as you're talking and I'm feeling like, oh, man, I don't know about that. Like, I don't know about that. I don't know, like, if I'm can do that. I don't know. I don't know. But then the triumph piece, I get that. I get when my husband left the property, I live on a farm. So when I needed to learn how to use the wood chipper and learn how to use the chainsaw and learn how to the snowblower, like all of these things, it's like, I'm an effing queen. Look, I don't need a man. I don't need a, but I can't open the dumb jar. But still, like, it's this, and it's not that I want a man. Yeah, I do. It'll be great and all of those things. But this need, as opposed to this desire for something that feels expansive, rather than like a need comes from lack. And I love that knowing that there's a triumph piece will help me with the uncomfortable middle.
it's so fun. It's so fun. I have complete faith in you, Wendy. Complete faith.
I can't wait to call you when I tell you. And it's
Oh,
even good that, because I was imagining like, ooh, can I do something, at home that's not going to be like where people are watching
yeah.
this total nightmare. But my house was built in 1785, and you just can't, you can hardly walk without things moving. So I think that it's really great that my home is not the first choice to do something that is new and expansive, that there is something to that healing process of getting out of not just one area of a comfort level, but multiple
Mhm.
levels of comfort, just getting out.
There's something so interesting about this notion of triumph, like you were describing in your the triumph that you felt, the can-do energy is what I was just
Mhm.
completely receiving from you. And that is the generative reality that helps us to expand into the next version, right? In a visceral, somatic, embodied way. And what I found so interesting too about what I learned about trauma and also in my own journey of feeling safe and fully expressed in my sensuality is that if we go to the other end of the spectrum and go into the full celebration of what our nervous systems are not prepared for, it can also be
Mm,
traumatizing.
sure.
And so this aspect of doing this step by step has also been something that's been really important for me too, is of just taking that next step of expansion and then feeling it, being grounded in it, and then the next one. And I really relate that to the journey of dance and sensuality. Um, and that way it grows and it kind of deepens the new mapping system in the body that then becomes a habit. It becomes second nature to be present in the senses and in the moment and enjoying it all the time and filling and feeding the sense of fulfillment. So I just wanted to speak to that because there's a lot of wisdom in, when there is something that we can easily feel intimidated by because it's just not known in our nervous systems yet. There is some wisdom in that too, and to trust that pace and respect it.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for that. Thank you for that great question, Anna. What
Great.
would you like to add to that?
Um, to stair step it if somebody's not ready to jump on a pole. When I was listening to Raya, when I was listening to you share all of that, I was like, I've not pole danced. I've coached pole dancers. And I feel like I know pole dancing very well because my waxing place in New York was across from a strip club. So there were always like tons of strippers there. And we're always talking about pole dancing. So anyway, I'm more of a journalist of pole dancers. But I lived in a yoga ashram when I did my teacher training. And every day after lunch, which when I think about digestion doesn't make a lot of sense, we would have a dance party. And I would always be like, we're going to have a dance party after we just ate. Like, we're just going to hop around and okay. But every day, every single day for the whole, we were there a month. For 30 days, there were 60 of us. We ranged in age from 18 to 80. And we had a dance party. And so you can really apply what Raya is saying anywhere in your life, right? Because while it might be on a pole, it really is about like feeling your body and being in touch with your senses. And I was terrified of these dance parties. And there were like people with hula hoops and feathers and, you know, like an 80-year-old man, like gyrating and like all the things were happening. It was like information overload. But what I can see and what eventually happened in the 30 days, that I eventually started to love it. But that those first experiences, it really helped me to just watch other people not care.
Right.
More I saw that they had their eyes closed and they weren't performing. They were just doing what felt good. That in turn gave me permission to just move the way I wanted to move. And I also had like plenty of trauma. I'd been in a ballet class as a senior in college with, they told me that it was fine, that it was an intermediate class. It was not fine. It was very traumatic. I would just cry through the whole class because I was with like a bunch of ballet majors and the teacher hated me because I just didn't have any idea like what was going on. And so I get really nervous, which is why I love directing the dances, but I was never in them. And so all of this to say, if you're like, oh, this sounds really interesting, you could just go somewhere where other people are dancing. Watch Dancing with the Stars in your damn house, right? Like that's what my mom does. And then last night, Derek was like, I'd really like to go dancing with you. Like, I really want to go dancing with you. And I was like, yeah. He said, but we don't dance very well together. And I was like, yeah, I haven't always trusted you. And so sometimes I don't feel safe because I don't feel like I can count on you. And that shows up in our dancing.
I would bet that it shows up in other places too.
It does. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But specific to the conversation. And
Yes,
so I
yes.
was like, I said, but here's what I know. We're working on this. And so I think that dancing would be a great way for us to practice that in a different format.
That's beautiful.
You know? So I just think that like whatever it is that gets you present in your body and not feeling like you need to, like, the only way I do yoga is with my eyes closed. There's nothing outside that's more interesting than what's happening inside, right? And I had a teacher that used to blindfold us in class. Like we would have to just do it blindfolded. You probably know him, Raya. Marco Rojas.
I don't.
Yeah.
No.
He was on the Upper East Side. But anyway, yeah, he was one of those yoga teachers that like, of course, had some drama and landed on the front page of the paper. Kind of, yeah. But he's great. Very, very outspoken about his beliefs. Which is I really loved, but not everybody did. So yeah, I just think that dance, spin, I mean, whatever it is, like Wendy, you on the farm, like chopping wood, doing all of that stuff, like that's it.
Yeah. being present with the senses. It can be any form, really. And then also, I really love what you said, Anna, about how when you saw others close their eyes, it gave you permission to do the same.
Yeah.
And further to that, doing yoga with your eyes closed, because there's nothing more interesting than that. And I feel like ultimately that is the journey, right? Of being in that sacred sanctum with ourselves and feeling so connected to that and so safe and spacious in that, that then it becomes a joy to interact with others. And just to carry on with the dance metaphor, another step, I have experienced dance reflecting so much in me in terms of trust. Went on to, this was kind of after the pole dancing phase, but a little bit intertwined. I immersed myself in tango because I wanted to experience trust in partner dancing, and I found it so beautiful and so sensual. And with tango, I believe more than any other partner dance, you're really close. In Argentinian tango, it's chest to chest with a stranger. And when I was first learning,
Liz and I are like, yeah, we'll watch.
it was, look,
I
I
had to
said,
put another
I
sweater
was
on.
like, this is what I know I need for the next level of trust for me. My form
No,
was
I hear you. It's clearly our next level too. And we would not have reacted that way if it wasn't for us.
But it's such a beautiful teacher for dynamics about where we can expand in the safety and spaciousness with ourselves. Like to your point, Anna, about, seeing where there's a lack of trust, for example, that can show up, and then seeing what happens when we do have that trust in ourselves with our eyes closed. Because in tango, very early on, they taught us to have our eyes closed so that as the follower, we need to be so attuned to being on our axis and not, falling to, off of our center, but also to be receptive to our partner. And it just, the how can I say this? It's leaning into that trust in self as well as being receptive at the same time, to be
Exactly.
in flow with another, that mirrors life so beautifully.
Yeah,
And
that's what you said about the chest, the closeness, and what you were mentioning about the trust in the relationship. It's so interesting because I think those are the obvious, not obvious markers, but oh yeah, it's because it's closeness and because it's a stranger, and it's because I don't trust you to whatever. And I think for me, underneath that is exactly what you just said: my relationship with support, my relationship with receiving, my relationship with not with control, with
Yeah.
yeah, I would trust you if you would stop effing it up all the time, and not,
Yeah.
which is the definition of not doing how I would have done it when
Yeah.
I would have done it the first time correctly, which is
I
the way
I
to be done,
remember
right?
thinking that, like, Derek and I were really good. We had just gotten married. We were living in Houston, Texas. I was leading like a private event membership club, and we would do different events all over Houston every month that I would curate. And one of them was acro yoga. And that
contact
was
yoga, right? That's where you're
yeah, you're like flying people. So they'll like put their, feet up, and you'll fly yourself on their stomach and all that. And I was like watching all these people like just nail it. I mean, just like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so great, which also tricks you into thinking it's easy. And then Derek and I went to go do it. And I was like, oh shit. And that was before we've even hit bumps in the road. I can see very clearly how much I don't trust men. And he was like, I've got you. I'm like, I don't know about that. And this also isn't about you, but you are now my husband. So you are the proud recipient of
Right.
all of the work that I get to do now, right?
You are the patriarchy. Yeah.
He's like more of a feminist than I am. And so emotionally available and all of those things. But like also there's my dad wound. Like there's and so and yeah, I mean it really is. And what I've realized even in this conversation is that it's actually less about me trusting him. And it's all about me trusting myself, but even bigger than that, it's about me trusting God. It's like, oh, you sweet little girl, you say that you want this. Are you available? Right? It's the receptivity. It is really always the receptivity. It's not fuck manifestation. I'm like, anybody can manifest anything, but mostly we can't see that it's right in front of us.
Yeah.
And that's about receptivity.
I love that you brought it to this point of receptivity, because in the world of personal growth and of spiritual evolution and this voraciousness to become, the receptivity quality, I feel, is so often overlooked.
Yep.
And it is the most powerful and the most effortless way to be ourselves, really.
It's the
Yeah.
feminine.
I mean, but the thing is, y'all, we weren't taught that. Did your
No.
mom teach you that?
No.
Like, I didn't get that. And I know my mom didn't get it from her mom. And or the like the first
No
time I
one's
ever
yeah.
the first time I ever sat down with a shaman, she was like, hey, tell me about your great grandmother. I was like, damn, we're gonna go there. And she was like, yeah, I really think that's where we're gonna need to start. I was like, and it was all of the like the trauma, it's all of that, it's all the stories, and that's within ancestral, you know, lineage. Not to get too woo on anybody, but
Oh,
really,
it's not.
yeah,
It's
the
not
stories,
woo.
it's the
Yeah.
stories we tell. It's the stories we say about men. It's the stories that are repetitive that you hear from your mother, that you hear from your grandmother, that then somehow we think it's ours.
And just further to that point of how we adopt and inherit uh, familial patternings, it is actually biological.
Yeah.
We do receive their patterning of fears.
Yep.
And unless we reprogram ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
do that rewiring of our circuitry, that will continue to live inside of us.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many studies that prove that. That's why I say it's not woo, like those belief systems that have shaped our parents and those who came before us, they do continue to live on unless we do gain the consciousness and awareness around them. And it lives physiologically within us. So yeah, I really love that it's part of that conversation of becoming aware of what's ours and what isn't, and what is not ours, what we carry within us that we've inherited that is also not ours.
It's so good. And I'm so delighted that it came to this point of receptivity and this relationship with support, because if it was just about dancing, I probably wouldn't do it. But now that it's about personal development, I'm in. So I think it's just beautiful. I'm looking at also some questions and some things in here. Yeah, I think that these conversations are so great. I agree with the comments for, I mean, you ladies are young, but for women in our late 50s that are feeling like sensuality train left the station a long time ago, or what, and I just think that there's so many, I don't want to say, no, but well, nobody told me, obviously. and I won't say no one's talking about it. I'll say that nobody in my circle is talking about it. So I love that we're having this conversation because like thoughts grow as they're shared, and it's helpful. It's
Mhm.
helpful to know that there is that not wanting to be on the dance floor is a trauma response. Like that actually makes me feel
Yeah.
better than
Your
it's
dad
not
was
just because I
sure.
don't know how to dance.
Right. I'm like, your dad was a preacher. Oh, no way are you getting on the dance floor.
Right.
Or you're going to swing the other way. It's going to be
I swing. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, you'll do one or the other. You know,
Yeah.
something I want to jump in and add, if anybody is curious about like moving into like dance or movement, I'm not sure if this is still around, but this was one that I used to absolutely love. It's been a while. And Raya, you might know this, living in LA, but Five Rhythms.
Oh, I love it.
Five Rhythms is so good. It literally takes you through 5 emotional states. And the last time I did it, you scrunch down in a ball, and then you just like get blossomed out and you bloom out. And I passed the fuck out. I mean, I knocked myself out so unconscious because I had never like let myself go to the degree that I let myself go in that 5 Rhythms. And to this day, I'm like, that was one of the most um, transformative moments of my life was in that dance class. So yeah, and I'm sure I'm sure there are YouTube videos and, you know, all of that if you want to, yeah. But
I have a wealth of resources around this. If anyone wants to reach
Yeah.
out to me personally, I really encourage everyone to just DM me.
yeah,
I have fully explored the spectrum.
I bet you have. I'm like,
Yeah.
DMing you.
And I'm 52. So I've been doing it for a while, and it's something that I just cherish and will cherish for the rest of my life because it makes me feel alive.
Right.
Let's like just to say that age doesn't need to be a factor.
Oh no. Well, and you guys, Wendy, you're near Kripalu, yes?
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
They have some crazy dance. That's where I did all this weird dancing.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you could just pop in. There's all
Right.
kinds of stuff if you're looking
No,
for it.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yes. And I
You
appreciate
could host them. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I know, right after the rage walking,
Anyways, yeah.
right? That's what we talked about rage walking in
Oh my
our
gosh.
earlier session. Yes, I will host one. It'll be so amazing.
No,
So
we're starting.
I already have 2 takers.
Starting.
All right. I'm only hosting if you 2 are coming. So
I'll come.
I love it.
I love this. Raya, thank you for doing this ahead of us. Like, thank you for going first. I appreciate it because you're a much safer avenue toward this than a Google search.
Yeah.
I don't know what ads they're going to start suggesting for me.
A lot of ads.
There's
Right.
yes.
I mean, there are so many things.
On my last summit, Wendy, I had one of my guests talk about crystal dildos.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So we went 7 minutes in. I was like, oh, okay, well, this is going in a different direction.
Right. I hope you had an affiliate link.
I'm interested.
Lots of things showing up on my phone. Lots of things.
I bet. I bet.
Child safety locks on this baby.
Wow. Okay. So in closing, what would you like to say? It's so interesting at the end of each of these sessions. I've just been gifted with a question that we can all ask ourselves. And I feel like I'm leaving this session with more questions that aren't necessarily appropriate for everybody to answer. But I really appreciate that. And I think that it's I think maybe the question for journal prompting is, what is my relationship with support and what do I really feel? I think receivership is our crown.
Mm.
And how can I implement more receptivity
Yeah.
in my day tomorrow? Like how, I mean,
Can I tweak it just a minute? Just
Yes,
so people can
please.
remember? Because journal prompts are my favorite thing to do.
Yep.
where am I not trusting myself? Super easy to remember. And I recommend 3 pages, 45 minutes, right?
Okay, I have a question about that.
Sure.
If I go 3 pages, 45 minutes on how I'm not trusting myself,
Yeah.
you're gonna need to hide all the sharp implements. Like, how am I going to how do I recover from that
So here's the thing,
lift?
you bring up a really great point, which is why I stand strong behind 45 minutes, because you can't possibly write that long on how you don't trust yourself.
Oh, I'll come out trusting myself. Is that what you're okay, good.
You
Thanks.
will come out in the last, what I have seen, studies show, in my 17 years of teaching this,
Mhm.
is that something happens in the last 5 to 15 minutes. Now it gets longer the longer you've been doing it. Like I can get it right away
Mhm.
some days, but something happens. You've got to fatigue that mistrust that you have in yourself.
Got it. Right,
Yeah.
play the tape out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you've got to give the space. And
Mhm.
so at the 30, 35 minute mark, you'll get tired of yourself,
Right.
of this brain.
Yeah, I bet it comes earlier.
What'll click in is the little voice inside of you, God, the parent that's like, do you know how much I love you?
Yeah.
How,
Yeah, our question from the last
yeah,
session, what does love want you to know? So
that's
that
what will start. That's what starts to happen, which is why I'm like, I don't want your 15 minutes. I'm not
Mhm.
interested in your gratitude journaling. I'm interested in you giving your crazy brain a place to be every day and get tired and then sit out for a little while something else writes.
Mm,
And so it's to the nectar that we're going.
okay.
I have something to add on the
Please.
topic. I love this too, of like just the total release of any negativity that can be holding you back. And then once there's spaciousness, it's like, what do I lean into?
Yeah.
And the question that comes for me personally is, how can my receptivity add to greater effortlessness and vitality in my life? And that is the metaphor for sensuality, is how can
Okay,
I
say that again, please.
how can leaning into more receptivity
Mhm.
lead to more effortless vitality in my life?
Love it.
Vitality and or fulfillment. It's
Yeah. And I would add on to that, Raya, like
yeah.
I would want somebody I was coaching to know, what does that even feel like?
Yes.
Right. And so to bring it back to dancing, which is the topic of this summit, now saying yes to
It is now.
um is really about, like, if you can get to what it feels like,
Yes.
then that makes it a lot more accessible. And then you can get some muscle memory of like, I remember that. Like I hadn't remembered 5 rhythms in years. But then I saw your website and I was like, oh my gosh, I remember that. And then I went so hard at it, I like knocked myself out. And then, okay, so how could I like dance with that again and also do it in a way that my nervous system can handle it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it becomes like an everyday practice rather than like, I told you I swing the pendulum far. It's like, it's now okay. We're just going to dance while we're doing the dishes. Let's like chill.
And then it's effortless. Yes.
Mhm.
I really appreciate that add-on of knowing how it feels in your body, and for that to be an anchor
Yeah,
of
good word.
knowing, so that there's no question, right? You just know when you're feeling that, what if I just marinate in this a little longer without needing to do anything, say anything, go anywhere, or be anything other than I am right now?
Mhm.
See what emerges.
Mhm. I mean, that's really what your Say Yes Summit is all about. It's like our bodies actually know the yes. It's
Mhm.
these things up here
Yeah.
that get us very confused. But our bodies, if I have full body chills, I know, like I'm looking for that in every single one of my moments. Like, especially if I'm coaching somebody, I'm like, is that, yeah, because, oh yeah, okay, there it is. we're always kind of looking for that, and our bodies are so incredibly wise.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think it's mostly women on the summit, right, Wendy?
Mhm.
Like, I'm in a family of all boys, and I feel bad for them because I'm like, I don't know what you do with those bodies, because like we're so wise and we create life, and like we're so tied to Mother Nature and the four seasons, and like it's just so incredible. We can trust that knowing.
Yeah.
It makes saying yes so easy.
Mm. It's so good. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please tell everybody where they can find and follow you, all of those things. If there's anything that you're working on right now that you would love to invite people in, I will, of course, follow up with all the links and stuff in the email that will go out tonight. But I would just love to hear. We're all going to break your website, of course, looking at all these resources now, but tell us what is going on in your world, Raya.
I would love to invite people to go to my website. Actually, my website is my birth name, which is Krista, Krista Kujat, Kujat. And I have free audios of my book there. And the way I offer these audios is a gentle suggestion to slow down and connect with the senses. And you'll see when you listen to them, the audios are a transmission of gentle reflection and slowing down and to connect with self, and a reminder that we don't need to do anything more than that. There's nothing to do, to improve, to fix, to yada, yada, yada. And so that's my offer that I would really love people to enjoy and connect with. And I'm also on Instagram, and my book is available on Amazon. Life's Poetic Glossary, The Humanity of Everyday Words.
It's so good. Thank you.
I love the
Anna,
cover, Raya.
I
love
know, isn't it beautiful?
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
So you can find me. I popped my website into the chat,
Mhm.
and it's Anna K. Morris. For anybody who's interested in learning how to journal, I call it journal your guts out. I've got journal prompts that are on there, so you can grab journal prompts. I just led a summit last week, and then last month I led one with Wendy on there, and you can go and sign up and get those replays for free. So January's was Love Yourself, and then last week was a Finding Love, really about like really finding that there's more love in your life than we even notice. And then I'm leading a group coaching program that starts next week. So if you are wanting, what Raya said really struck me, because my group programs, we mostly just like laugh and cry through the whole thing. And then there's a private WhatsApp group, because I find that sometimes once a week things happen on other days and you need some support. So it really like gives people that support. And I find that in 3 months people come out and they're like so clear about how to coach themselves through journaling. So if that's of interest, then that will start next Thursday.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank
Nice to
you.
meet you, Raya.
Great to meet you and to have this time together. I'm so delighted. I love that there's the unknown of not worrying where the conversation's going to go.
My favorite. Oh my gosh, it's so good. We've been preparing for these conversations our whole lives.
Yes.
So that's why it's so good. So thank you, everyone, presenters, attendees, those watching the replays. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Your yes is unlocking the most delicious life that I can dream of. So thank you, thank you, thank you.